Okay, so where can you get the Shepherd of Hermas? Looking here, you can see on the doing a Google search looking for the Shepherd of Hermas. Shepherd of Hermas is available in several different sources in several different translations. You have the Lightfoot translation, which you can find in some volumes and some books. You have the Ronald Donaldson translation that you find in other books, and there's at least one more translation other than the one that I like to use, and I like to use the one found in the Lost Books of the Bible, particularly this version of the Lost Books of the Bible here, this one in the middle. Okay, and you look in here, I think this is Amazon. You can get a copy of it on Amazon. Say you can get one used from about $2.70. Uh, you can also get them on eBay. Again, there are several versions, several different places that has these lost books of the Bible, forgotten books of Eden. So here's my copy of the lost books of the Bible. I've had it for a couple of years now. You see, I've worn it out a little bit. When I say that the lost books of the Bible is in there, when you open it up, you'll see the table of contents lists the books that are here. And you can see over there that Hermas, the Shepherd, is in there among some of these other books, like Infancy and the Apostles' Creed and First Clement, Second Clement, and some others. You say, well, what are the lost books of the Bible and the forgotten books of Eden? Okay, here are some of the books included in the lost books of the Bible. Looking at Wiki, let's read what Wiki says about the lost books of the Bible. The lost books of the Bible and the forgotten books of Eden. The lost books of the Bible and the forgotten books of Eden is a collection of 17th century and 18th century English translations of some Old Testament pseudepigrapha and New Testament Apocrypha. So what that's saying is that these translations were put out then. Some of the contents of the lost books of the Bible. And you say, well, why aren't these books included in the 66 books? It's because they weren't canonized. So makes you question, well, what does canonized mean? Okay. Well, the Apocrypha, which this book is one of the Apocryphal books, the word Apocrypha means biblical or related writings not forming part of the accepted canon of Scripture. So that should make you wonder, okay, what is the accepted canon of Scripture? Biblical canon or canon of Scripture is a set of texts or books which a particular religious community regards as authoritative or Scripture. The English word canon comes from the Greek meaning rule or measuring stick. Christians became the first to use the term in reference to Scripture, but Eugene regards the idea as Jewish. Okay, so the Christians are the first ones to come up with the idea of having a canonized book. And the reason why they came up with this canonized book was so that they could exclude other books. That was the purpose, was they excluded other books. They had 100 or 200 or 300 books to choose from, and they chose 66 out of those to consider canon, which is fine. I mean, this is the Christian faith, and who we're talking about is the Roman Catholic Church. And of course, they wanted to build the Roman Catholic Church. They didn't necessarily want to build the Church of the Lord or the Church of God or the Church of Yah or the Millennial Age Church. They wanted to build their stuff, and they did, and you can't fault them for that. But we just got to recognize what actually happened before we start saying, I only go by the canonized books or whatever. We got to know what we're talking, because if we do that, what we're doing is pledging our allegiance to the Pope in yet another way, in saying he's the one who decides what books are ours and what books we are not ours. But look at this word Jewish, relating to or associated with or denoting Jews or Judaism. So it's related to or associated with Jews, not necessarily Jews, but are related to or associated with. Even this word denoting, when you look up denoting, it says sign of or to indicate. So it's a sign of the Jews. It's not necessarily the Jews, but a sign of the Jews. Down here is a better definition. It says stand as a name or symbol for. Orthodox Christians, Catholics, and Protestants use different canons which differ in respect to the text and are included in the Old Testament. So these, you see, they have different canons, but you know who it is that has these canons. It's the Orthodox Christians, the Catholics, and the Protestants who are squabbling over which books are considered real and which books aren't. When you read our scripture, it says, you see in 2 Timothy 3:16, it says, all scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. He said, well, okay, well, why did these guys remove these scripture then? Well, it's because they wanted to build their kingdom. Like I said, they wanted to build the Catholic Church the way it is now. They didn't necessarily want a whole bunch of other doctrine included that contradicted them. They want to live a loose kind of relationship with the Lord where they don't have to adhere so strictly to the commandments. Well, that's not what you're going to find in these books that they taken away. When you read books like Enoch, when you read books like Jasher and Jubilees, you find that the Lord expects a strict adherence to his law, and that's not really what the Catholic Church or the Orthodox Church or the Protestant Church wants to teach its people. They chose who they wanted to listen to. So they chose to listen to Paul, but they didn't choose to listen to Enoch. They chose to listen to Matthew, but they didn't choose to listen to Thomas. They chose to listen to Luke, but they didn't choose to listen to Mary. They chose, um, the Revelation according to John, but they didn't give you the Apocalypse according to Elijah or the Apocalypse according to Daniel. So they pick and choose. The problem now is that we're confused and giving the authority to the church. We assume that they know what they were talking about and we should go with the 66 books to protect ourselves. And I said no. I say everything that the Catholic Church is doing, you need to be doing the opposite. If they standing up, you need to be sitting down. If they sitting down, you need to stand up. Hermas Academy. Power, patience, continence, and faith. We teach virtue.